From the industrial heartlands of Great Britain, every so often comes a story of pure, unadulterated ingenuity. This is one of those tales. It's about a small machine, you see, born in a family workshop that would go on to challenge the very giants of construction. This is the story of the Powerfab, the little digger that really could.
So, that's the big question, isn't it? How on earth did one small, family-run firm tucked away in the Welsh valleys manage to shake up the entire world of modern construction? Well, it's a fantastic story. They saw a problem that the huge multinational companies had just completely missed. And in solving it, they didn't just make a new product, they created a whole new kind of machine.
All right, let's set the scene. Our story begins in Tredegar, Wales, back in the late 70s and early 80s. Now, this isn't just a pin on a map. This town became the crucible for a genuine revolution in small-scale engineering, all driven by the vision of one man.
And this quote, it really hits the nail right on the head. This is the problem that started it all. The company's founder, a man named David John, he simply looked around and saw just how backbreaking and agonizingly slow all the small digging jobs were. Digging a trench for a pipe, sorting out a garden, it was all still being done by hand, with a shovel. And he just thought, there has to be a better way.
And here it is. This was his brilliant solution. It wasn't some huge, lumbering beast of a machine. No, it was something compact, powerful, and honestly, revolutionary in its simplicity. The absolute game changer was that you could tow it. You could just hitch a Powerfab onto the back of your transit van or even your family car. It completely opened up access to mechanical power. For the very first time, the small builder, the local landscaper, could actually afford a digger of their own.
But the genius didn't stop there. Getting the digger to the job site easily was one thing, but what about moving it around on the site, especially when the ground was a muddy mess? Well, this is where the engineering gets really, really clever.
Just look at this process. It's so beautifully elegant. You'd unhitch it, plant the bucket firmly into the ground, and then use the machine's own hydraulic arm to just pull the whole chassis forward. Reposition the stabilizing legs, and you go again. It could literally walk itself across the site. Think about a churned-up building site where wheels would be totally useless. This was pure, practical genius at work.
Now, look at this number, 0.7 meters, 70 centimeters. That might not sound like a lot, but it was absolutely crucial. Because if you took the wheels off, the Powerfab could shrink down to this width. And why does that matter? It meant it could fit through a standard garden gate. It could even get through a doorway inside a house for renovation work. This little machine could go places no digger had ever been before.
And the clever ideas just kept on coming. Another massive innovation was something called the hydraulic power takeoff, or HPTO. What that meant was, this little digger also became a mobile power station. You could literally just plug in all sorts of other hydraulic tools, breakers, saws, pumps, you name it. Suddenly, the Powerfab wasn't just a digger anymore. It was the beating heart of the entire job site.
And as you can imagine, this kind of success did not go unnoticed. After it first appeared on the scene in 1981, the company just took off. By 1985, they'd landed a contract with the British Army. Now that tells you just how tough and reliable these machines were. And the crowning glory? They won the prestigious Queen's Award for Export. Just think about that. The little digger from the Welsh valleys was now a global success story.
But, well, you know how these stories often go, don't you? Especially with great British industry. Just when things are at their peak, you can see the storm clouds start to gather on the horizon. And a new, very formidable challenge was emerging from overseas, a challenge that was about to change everything.
And this really boils it all down. You had two completely different ways of thinking crashing right into each other. On one side, you have the Powerfab idea. Make it lightweight, make it easy to tow, make it accessible. But then you have the Japanese approach from companies like Kubota and Takeuchi. Their idea was different. Build it heavier, put it on tracks for maximum stability, and focus purely on raw power on the job site. It was a total clash of philosophies.
And what happened was, the market itself started to change. It wasn't just that trailers for moving machines around got cheaper. The whole nature of the work was becoming more streamlined. Contractors started caring more and more about pure, raw efficiency. How much can I get done in a day? And the Japanese machines, with their extra power, their tracked stability, and frankly, more operator comfort, just let you work faster. All of a sudden, Powerfab's killer feature, that brilliant towability, just wasn't as critical as it used to be.
And so we come to a part of the story that is, sadly, all too familiar for so much of British manufacturing from that period.
We're talking about a slow decline brought about by immense external pressures. It truly was the end of an era for this great Welsh innovator.
The first big blow was the deep recession of the early 1990s. It was brutal, and it absolutely hammered Powerfab's core customers, the small builders, the independent landscapers. When those businesses are just trying to keep their heads above water, the last thing they can do is invest in new equipment.
And make no mistake, these were premium machines. This price list from 1990 shows a top model costing nearly £6,000. That was a serious investment. The quality was undeniable, but in a harsh economic climate, the cheaper, mass-produced Japanese imports, well, they just started to look like an irresistible alternative.
And then, in 1995, the moment came. The original independent Powerfab, that family firm from Tredegar, was sold. It was bought by a Danish company, and while some production continued under a new name, it was over. The spirit, the independence, the very name that had won a Queen's Award and put Welsh engineering on the map, it had been lost. A truly poignant end to a great chapter of British industry.
But hold on, because just when you think that's the end of the line, the story takes a turn. A legacy this strong, an idea this good, it doesn't just fade away into nothing. The Powerfab name and the family spirit behind it, well, they were destined to make a return.
So let's trace that journey. It starts in '81. Then comes that sad moment in '95 when the company is sold. But then, look, 2006, something pretty remarkable happens. Nathan John, the son of the original founder, he steps up and forms a brand new company, Powerfab Equipment Limited. The name was back, driven by the next generation.
But this time, they had to adapt to a totally different world. The new Powerfab operates on what you might call a hybrid model. The core manufacturing is now done in China to stay competitive. But, and this is the crucial part, all the specialist engineering, the customization, and the quality oversight happens right back where it all started, in South Wales.
And this brings us to our final thought. The story of Powerfab is so much more than just a story about diggers. It's a case study in innovation, competition, and incredible resilience. And it asks a powerful question for today. In an economy dominated by mass production and global giants, is there still room for the small, agile family firm with a truly brilliant idea? The Powerfab story suggests that perhaps there is.